All right. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:30. Look at that. Red Dog is on time. I know when I'm like 6:31, 6:32, I get a little upset with myself because I remember the days of the Ironman training and the marathon training. And if you're ever waiting for people to come to a workout, like 1 minute feels like an hour. But anyway, hopefully everyone's feeling good. It's Wednesday. You know, hopefully you already did a little bit of a workout. You drank your water. You're feeling good. You have multiple plans in your head. You're getting ready for the day. You're not already getting anxious and upset about all the trades you missed from Friday through yesterday, and you're just getting ready to go, and hopefully in a spot where you've been netting money, feeling good. And if you're not, you better start changing your morning process. A lot of people started subscribing to the Red Dog Mindset, which is where you do a 20-minute workout with me in the morning, whether you're in a sauna like this, or you're on a towel, you're on a blanket. Basically, I talk about, futures down 6-7 handles, Europe off small, Asia flattish. You've had a 3-day move. What needs to hold to keep the rally in check? What could go from red to green? What are we looking for? What do we know? What don't we know? Right? We all know April 2nd is tariff day. We know that Trump this week kind of was easy with it. He didn't, he wasn't abrasive, so it kept the market moving. We know that there could be a pension rebalance SPY. So between now and Friday, there's not a lot going on, so you may not want to be short. We know that we started an oversold bounce from Friday when we reclaimed certain areas in the SPYs, and we've had a big move with a gap and go Monday into a little bit of follow through yesterday. Now it's been 3 days. So what we don't know is kind of what's next. Do we float up towards resistance? If you take a look here, does the SPYs want to hold 573 to get above 576 to see 580? That's certain parameters. Someone said to me this morning, like, hey, Red Dog, we're going to see the lows this week. Did you see McClellan oscillate? The McClellan note? McClellan on Friday said we're going to see a retest of the lows this week. I'm like, well, what does he say now? And it still says it on the bottom of his note that we're going to retest the lows of the week. I'm like, that's really not that constructive. I'm like, in order to test the lows, what do we have to do first? You got to get below and stay below 573.69. And then you have a huge gap here. So I know McClellan has his own oscillator and the guy is famous, but it's not very constructive. It gives a false sense of security, and it probably puts footsteps in people's head about being long things that look good with the market. Now, his note said they were going to test the lows this week, and that was on Friday, of last week. So, did he ignore the fact that we reclaimed 559 and 561 and closed strong? Did he ignore the fact that Tesla broke out above 242, that Tesla, which was the weakest stock for the past 3 months? Did he ignore the fact that Tesla reclaimed the 8-day and had relative strength in volume? Did he, ignore the fact that he had a gap and go on Monday to take back the moving averages? So, just be careful who you're reading and who you're following, because I know a lot of people that lost a lot of money short, Friday into today, and missed the opportunity of this technical move that could have made you money because prognosticators were out there saying, hey, we're going to, test the lows next week. Who the hell says that? How do you know? So you could say, hey, I don't think the lows are in for 2025. I kind of agree with that, but that doesn't tell you from Friday to today what you should be doing and how you should be making money. So anyway, the 630 Club or on the Alpha Team, what I do is I try and give you a roadmap, a realistic roadmap of if this happens, then we do that. If that happens, then we do this. And then, you put your tier system on top of it with your sell rules, and you keep your eyes and ears open, with the action. So bottom line is, here we are with Tesla. I was saying when we started, I'm like, where do we think we can get to? I'm like, realistically, it could probably get to 290, 297, maybe 325 if, all things, happen. So yesterday, I got out of mine right around here at 284. So, I know last night it was up at 291. So, hey, maybe there's an opportunity here for it to hold. Okay, if you look at the, this is your intraday chart from yesterday. So basically, this is where it broke out from. So you would think, hey, just as we talk about it, in order to see 290 or so, you would think that this, 279 to 281 holds. That's the afternoon move. But, bottom line is it was a nice trade there in Tesla. There was a 50-point trade. I caught a 50-point trade with the Alpha Team. But if you were saying, well, McClellan says we're going to test the lows next week, we can't be buying Tesla for a 50-point bounce. There's just a lot of things that go on in the course of a time frame of the trade. Same thing with Palantir. Palantir, looked really good on Friday. right? It took back the 8-day, the 21-day. I've been writing, courses about the 8 and 21 day. And there, it took me a little extra time at the end of the day to take it home because someone's like, well, McClellan says we're going to test the lows this week. I'm like, well, if we're going to test the lows, why am I buying Palantir here that just rebuilt and put an inverted head and shoulders pattern for a move up to here? I'm just saying, be careful. You have Ord out there, you have McClellan, you have, Ed Yardeni, you have, Wilson, you have Kramer, you have this. I would rely a little bit more on your own tactics. I would rely on your own charts, and I would rely on the price action, and try and keep your, the opinions, to the side. You could mix it all up and then help it form, your plan on the day. But, not everyone, no one, everyone talks out of their anal, their arse. Anyway, and then I think Wilson said buy the Mag 7 yesterday, so if you want to frame it, okay. If you remember, on Monday I came in, I was buying Amazon pre-market, and now it had a 3-day move. How, can it get to 210? Yes. Okay. What will it have to do to get to 210? Well, it's got to get above 206.21. So 206.21. Maybe today is just an inside day. So the bottom line is you have to prepare every day. You have to do your chart work. You have to know your pivots. You have to know what needs to happen for something else to happen, and not have a crutch. Like if you were short this week because you thought everyone was saying we're going to test the lows. Listen, I came in on Friday of last week and we were down 40 handles and it looked like we were going to test the lows. But guess what happened? The market reclaimed levels and leaders started to act better. So that wasn't the day or the week. Maybe in 2 weeks from now when we start earnings, when companies come out with earnings and they start pre-announcing, or lowering expectations and guidance for the next quarter, maybe that's when we head back lower. But between now and April 2nd, when everyone's talking tariffs, there's not a lot to go on except for the price action. Yesterday was one of the lowest volume days. So anyway, here's Amazon. Nice move. I'm smaller. I bought it on Monday. Let's see if it holds 2 or 358 and has a little bit more room left. Some people are like, well, Red Dog, did you see GME? Yeah, GME is, it's up. They're investing in Bitcoin. Okay, they're following the MSTR playbook, which is cool. It's up at 29. So I guess, if I was staring at this after hours around 27-ish and I didn't go after it, but whatever. So see if this holds up. I'm sure you'll hear a lot of talk about this. What's 29? This is 29 here. So if you're trading and you think it's going to, continue, this is some resistance 29 and then here's 34. So see if this gap holds. Anyway, I had options on that expired. So with that said, Bitcoin, I like IBIT. I'm in IBIT. You have a nice little bullish type flag here. I have some options on for power plays. I also have, some IBIT versus gap. This gap is holding. That's constructive. So when a gap holds like that, that means the shorts can't press it in. That means people are taking profits, but there's enough demand there to hold the gap so they can't get it cheaper. So usually you continue to the upside. So above 49, what is this, 50-50? So let's put that up there. 50-50 is the prior high. Above 50-50, maybe it continues to the upside. It's got to hold. This is 49.50-ish. So nice inside move here for Bitcoin. Mister's been leading the way. If you're in Mister, congratulations. Some traders could handle it, some can. I remember I was in New York City trading the Fed, and Mister looked really good. A lot of guys put it on. I should have put it on as a power play. I didn't, but it's fine at this point. It's looking good. It's already up already. So Mister's in the stage when when Bitcoin is consolidating, it's going up, and when Bitcoin's going up, it's really going up. So that's a good time to be involved in Mister. 343 is right here. So it's gonna, if you haven't been long it, this is not your day to probably buy Mister. Anyway, Nvidia. Some people are like, Red Dog, what's going on with this friggin' Nvidia? It's such a pain in the butt. I hear you. I am long some Nvidia. Nvidia is down $1. I guess if you lower this to here, this could be your out. This is 118.92. If Nvidia is going to be any good, I know yesterday it went below the low and came back above it, and it caught some shorts and got some people out. Whatever. Bottom line is, if Nvidia wants to help the semis, here's your setup. Okay, I am long some. I guess I have to add a little bit. If it breaks below 118.92 and stays below it, I'll get out. If it holds it and goes green, I'll add to it. Gets above 122.22, that's better. Gets above 122.89, it could be on its way to 125. So this is just hovering here, hovering. So the big move happened in Tesla. Tesla could chop around and go from red to green, but this is getting interesting. There could be a money trade here, but I'll be honest, if it hangs in here and doesn't go higher, and all of a sudden the market continues to rally when the market's ready to roll over, whenever that is, all of a sudden this could break to the downside. But for now, I am long the video, and we'll see how it goes. People are asking me to say hello to my comments, so I'll say hello to my comment section. Let's go to the comment section. Everyone on YouTube that watches the 630 Club or Twitter, you can make comments over here. Some of you guys had your 25-20 with me and are feeling good. You had your workout, you listened to some music, you had your sweat. I go right from my 25-20 in my ice barrel where I cool off, I get my mind right, I think about positions, I think about things I have to do, and I put it on paper and I put it in a video for you guys. So hopefully you guys can get on track. But anyway, what up, Ali Hassan? Good morning. Miami Jeff is hovering. That's cool. Black Rock, what do you say? Good morning. Interview with DJT Jr. tomorrow with Charles. So that's interesting. Microsoft. Okay, what's Microsoft doing? I don't know. Microsoft has been trying to, be a little bit better. I actually caught a trade in Apple yesterday, so that was good. Let's see what's Microsoft doing. Microsoft's doing a whole lot of nothing. Microsoft to me has room to 400. It's kind of it's fine. It's not special. It's been lagging. It's been horrible. It's been in this channel for so long, but I think they could see 401-ish. 2 days ago, I said Apple's going to see 224, and it happened. That was a nice little trade. It's a trade. Some people like Apple's horrible. It's going lower. It's going to be at 190 post earnings. I'm like, well, let's not talk about post earnings because we have a lot of time between now and earnings. All I know is if they want the market up, if they want the SPYs to continue this week, they could come after some of these for an oversold bounce. So what did I do? I played some options. I bought the 222, the 222.50s at $1.75, and I sold them into my target for $2.75. Hey, a little trade. Got to celebrate some small wins. The Alpha team did that trade with me. I did that. That was a good one. Anyway, now, who knows? So what's your interpretation of the MAGS chart? MAGS? Get it done once to ask me. I haven't looked at what's MAGS. Oh, okay. I guess this is an ETF for the MAG 7. I think there's some room. I think you could see a move to here before some big, before some resistance comes in, if that's the case. If you don't know which one to go after, then, you could go with the ETF. There are a bunch of these. All right, so this was your tight range that broke to the downside. That was then, this is now. Now you have a gap here. Okay, so some people are long versus that gap, right? So that means there's power and there's some room. Same way I think there's room in the SPYs going into Friday to see 580 to 585. So if you want to overlay certain charts, so if the SPYs are going to see 580 to 585, I'm not saying they have to, but that's where the macro sells will probably come out, then the MAGs, is another vehicle, should probably see a move towards 50. So that's how you kind of want to, you want to compartmentalize and put and overlay things. So, you kind of have your roadmap. You have to have your roadmap. Every morning you're up early, you're getting your mind right, you're getting situated, so you could put things on paper and have your roadmap ready. So when things happen, you could execute with confidence and make money, right? Good morning. Meta going higher. Meta just met my other target. I put 2 targets out there for Meta on Friday. One was first, the moving averages here, and the next was the 50-day, and that's what it hit. So it's going to probably get a little harder to go higher. This was your oversold move. This was your 3-day move. So to me, it gets harder now. Hopefully you made money into that. What's Meta doing today? Well, Meta is up $1 at 626 in no man's land. So you want to say, this is where we are. This is an easy move. This is a bigger move, and this is where it gets tougher. So now it's a little harder for Meta to go higher, unless this is going to be much more of a bullish tape. Okay, you have a little bit of a doji here. Is China dead again? I'll be honest, I lost some money in China. I made really good money in BABA for the first move, and then I got caught. Didn't get caught, but I definitely, into this area, I thought we weren't done. You had a nice move through this 145, and then I was kind of rolling up options into the 150s, and then that happened. If you look in perspective, you look at the move, it's not dead yet, but it's moving a little. It's consolidating to the downside. It's costing me some money. Yesterday I made some money when went from green to red, so that was all right. Not a whole lot, percent of reverse lower, but now it's up 33 cents. Just don't get caught over focusing on it. Like people who are focusing on Baba here, didn't catch the 3-day move in Meta, Amazon, and Tesla. So sometimes there's, stocks on the A list like this was here, but then once it gets up here, it moves to the B and the C list when you're trying to figure out where it's going to hold. All other things have better setups. That's called your go-to list. Things move up and down your go-to list based on the setup and how it looks. Where's the next money trade, or, where could it go, etc. Scott, why do you use a SPY chart versus the S&P cash? I use the S&P chart too. So Rod's asking me why I don't use the S&P. I do. Every day on the Alpha team and in my virtual trading floor and on my note, I do that. I just don't, do it here. This is a free 6:30 club that I do for free for the masses for 20 minutes, where I give you the roadmap, and then I don't do everything here. I just can't. I got to keep the lights on. I have to do it in the Alpha team, and same way. So if you find value in the 6:30 club, where I've probably made a lot of people a lot of money, I'm saying you should subscribe to Red Dog Mindset. So this way you could get your mind right, go to whiteboard weekends. I do lessons now on the weekends. We work out in the morning, whatever. So here's your S&P cash. I usually in the morning, when I do the chart, this is where I talk about the macro, versus tacticals, the narrative, yesterday the narrative was, Besant and Hassan met, the KBH. So if you want to look here at the S&P cash, here you go. Say it looks very similar to, to the SPYs. I don't trade futures. Okay. You know why? Because I'm up every day at 4:45. If I traded the futures and it was up all night, I'd be a shell of myself and I'd be out of the business. So I trade the SPYs intraday. So I give those levels. But here, where could the S&P, you could see this area, I think. Some people think that they're going to push the shorts really back and get up to 59.59. I'm saying, this congestion right here is going to be a spot where you want to be a little careful. What's this high from yesterday? 57.86. So typically what I do in the morning, my first chart I do is the S&P cash, and I talk about the narrative a little bit, what's going on. I like Europe's down a little bit, Asia's down a little bit. No real earnings to look at. Trump last night said that it's going to be targeted for tariffs. Tariffs aren't until the 2nd. We have OPEX on Friday, not OPEX, a pension rebalance. And I talk a little bit about that. And then the SPYs, it's just, tactical. Q is just tactical. So anyway, I do the S&P cash. And then I also do the weekly chart of the S&P cash, usually on a Friday, where I give a bigger picture. Bitcoin and ADA, I did the HIMS away from a higher low. Let's see, HIMS. It's, it's giving a little bit of a broken bounce, I guess. Has a little bit more room. I don't know what it's doing this morning. I don't really trade that. ADA, I'm not going to start trading. Just so you guys know, 95% of altcoins are going to be a zero. So stick to the majors. And if you're going to trade altcoins, you better use your moving average momentum rules, just like everything else. Never trust the Chinese stocks. That's not true. Baba had a really nice move. It just goes through trends just like everything else. Right here, Baba woke up. That's when you said, hey, I could trust Baba again. It's above the moving averages. And then it stayed above the 8-day the entire time. So, you could trust a Chinese stock that's above the 8 and 21 day. That means there's momentum there. Same thing with Tesla. You could trust Tesla when it's above the 8 and 21 day, but when it's below, you can't. This was pre-election all the way up. Then all of a sudden right here, it started to get below it and became more predatory. So if you got at a Tesla at 410, you weren't in it for every rejection into the 8-day. And then if you got back right here, you could trust it again. So I don't throw generalizations out there like, you could trust this, you could trust that. Like, I don't eat hamburgers, so I'm not buying Shack, or, et cetera, et cetera. Or, I don't like fast food, so I'm not playing Dash. I don't eat fast food, but I love Dash. I try, every now and then when I'm doing a big road trip, when Chase is playing AU basketball, I might cheat a little bit and have some Popeyes fried chicken. I love Popeyes fried chicken. It's really good. But anyway, DoorDash has been looking really good. I've been buying a dip, pretty much for the last few weeks, and it's looking good. I do think this 215 is not the high of the move. I've been talking and in DoorDash with the Alpha team for months, and I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable there. So I'm taking more size, so it's making me money. So just because you don't like fast food doesn't mean, you can't play DoorDash. It's above all the moving averages. Same way, you might not trust the Chinese because you've had a bad experience with someone somewhere. But when Bob is above the 8 and 21 day, you could be in it. Anyway, what's up, Black Jock? Thanks for what you do. I appreciate that. And here we are, At this point, it's 6:50. It's Wednesday. You've had a 3-day bounce. It's kind of a hard spot. Just because you're not long something doesn't mean it's a short. You have not much to grab and sink your teeth into between now and Friday, or between now and April 2nd. So, basically you have to say, if this, then that. If the SPYs hold 573, there's a chance that we can go sideways and continue to 580, 585. If we break below 573 and hold below 573, then you have this. And again, be careful who you read and what you put your emphasis on. I know on Friday, everyone's talking, McClellan says we're going to test the lows. Actually, on Thursday into Friday of last week, and that cost me a lot of money because, the price action on Friday said, hey, now things are reclaimed. Now some leaders are saying we're going to bounce. And in my head is McClellan saying we're going to retest the lows next week, which is this week. And he still has the same exact quote on his note, not changed. And I remember when Mike Wilson was bearish for a year and a half and stuck by it. I don't care if people make a call, but don't get louder if you're wrong, and listen to the market. And as traders, you have to listen to the charts in the market much more than any personality out there. Thanks for tuning in, and good luck today.